An exciting day today because I have just received this parcel. Very exciting, and this is from the good people at Strymon Engineering, who have very kindly sent me their new module, which is called the Superkar Plus. So in today's video I'm going to be having a look at this module. I'm going to be putting it into the case and having a little play around with it. I'm probably going to do this video in two parts. So today I'm just going to, well, get the module out and have a little play around, get it in the case, and just get a feel for it. And then I think I'm going to do a more detailed breakdown of the module in part 2, which will probably be next week's video. But yes, so that's what we're doing today. Hello there and welcome to another video. If this is your first time here, then my name is Richard. And even if it's not your first time here, my name is still Richard. But yes, in today's video we're going to be having a look at this module, which I'm going to break out of the box in a minute. So this module, Superkar Plus, is a brand new module from Strymon. And I should say that they have very kindly sent me this module free of charge to test it out. But I am gonna, I'm not necessarily gonna do a review, I'm just gonna play with the module and talk about it and all of that. So this module is based on a type of synthesis which is called Kar Plus Strung. And this is, I think it's very similar to how Mutable Instruments Rings works, although Rings also does other things as well. But it's based on the idea of a feedback loop in a delay that is excited by an external trigger or sound or noise. So I'm going to try and demonstrate that in a moment with a basic sort of setup to sort of demonstrate the principle of what Kar Plus Strung is, and then I'm going to get this module into the case. So I say it has literally just arrived now. I've just had it from the DHL man, and I haven't even opened the case yet, or the box. So I'm going to do that now with this trusty blade here. Is there a way up? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Box is a box. Safety first of all, of course, always cut away from you. Oh no, we need the knife again. Trying to do this as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. Right, what have we got? Some packing and this beautiful little box. Whoops, get rid of that. Okay, so here is the Strymon box. So I don't have any Strymon modules in my case, though I would love to have a few more. But I have used some of their pedals, and I do really love the pedals that they have produced. And a few years ago, in fact, when this channel was more about guitar, I did a video on the Strymon Iridium, which is a pedal of theirs that I use instead of an amplifier. But anyway, we don't want to talk about that. So, opening the box, what have we got? User manual. Aha, and there it is, the module nicely packaged in one of these little bags. Cable. Don't know what that is, warranty thing I guess. Sticker. And some screws. So let's put all that back. Just put it in there for a moment. So the user manual, I assume, is fairly brief, but things tend to be online a little bit more these days. So pretty basic. I'm not gonna read too much into there. I'll have a read of that later. And here is the actual module itself. Quite a nice looking module there. So some of the features of this module, it allows you to have a solo voice and a chord voice, which I'm kind of interested in, which I think allows you to, it's got some kind of like smart quantization, which allows you to, it harmonizes chords dependent on the root note and the scale that's being played. So that would be quite interesting to have a little play around with. So I'm going to put that into my case now, and I will see you again in a few minutes for a little play around. Okay. Okay, so before we get going with this look at this new module, which is up here, I just want to show this Car Plus Strong synthesis as a concept. So I'm using this delay unit here, and what I've got set up at the moment is I've got some noise coming out of this tail harmonic, which is going into a VCA just here. And then that VCA is being triggered by maths, which is off screen at the top here. Or rather, it's got an envelope from maths going into the VCA, and that envelope is being triggered by this cable from marbles, which is also just slightly off screen. So when I turn that up, you can hear this short pluck sound, which is coming from the delay, and that pluck sound is in sync with the trigger. Okay, now by adjusting the settings of this delay, you can make it a shorter sound, a longer sound. Now this control here is sort of a almost like a tone control. Can't really do much with the time. And adjusting which you can't see, but adjusting the envelope, so we can get some different sounds that way. Okay, so let's have a look at the actual module itself then. So you have to excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold as well, so if I keep coughing, please do excuse me. So it's there in the middle of the case, just here. So according to the instructions, we've got this module. It's got 2 independent voice channels. So the solo voice, which is on this side, and the chord voice, which is on this side. Each channel has a polyphony of up to 16 notes. So the solo voice just plays individual notes, whereas the chord voice, I believe, can actually play chords. And you can set that to harmonize with particular fixed intervals, or it has this built-in smart harmony, which will actually change the harmony of the chord dependent on the root note and the scale that it's been set to, I guess, to sort of quantize to. So beyond that, each side, whether it's the single voice or the chord voice, has got a similar set of controls: damp, decay, and attack on each side. And then the chord side has also got a harmony control. Each of those controls you can obviously control via CV as well. We've got an output, stereo output, and there's also a way of selecting what comes on the output. I think you can have it as either mono, or so mono with the same coming out of each left and right, or you can have stereo, or I think you can have the 2 voices, so the solo voice coming out of the left and the chord voice coming out of the right. So you could actually have the 2 voices sort of working independently. Anyway, I'm just going to have a go, just sort of patching some stuff together and see what comes out of it. I've got the manual by the side of me, but I haven't really read through it yet. There's not an awful lot. It's a very sort of brief manual, so there's not a lot to read through. So let's just sort of turn it up and see what we've got. See if we can increase the signal a little bit. So I'm just using, at the moment, I'm using my version of Marbles, which is down here, just providing trigger and CV for the volt per octave input. So you can hear that sort of nicely plucking away. Now, let's see what we've got. So at the moment, this is just set wherever, so you can tune as you'd expect. You can tune. Let's just change the mode of Marbles there. So I think that gives us some extra octave information. So we've got a damp control. We've got a decay control, which sort of increases the amount that the notes ring. And then we've got an attack, so at the moment this is just going straight to the mixer. There's a teeny little bit of reverb on the end there, but nothing else. And then we've also got the ability to change timbre. So you can go from I think sort of like a plucked string sound to more of a pipe. I think it's described as like a pipe, like a flute type sound. Like a more breathy type sound. And then it's also possible, so each control has got a secondary function as well. So the attack control has a secondary function which we access by holding this button, I think. So this sets the polyphony. And at the moment that also seems to be alternating between left and right. Let's just see, I think probably because I was... Okay, so that's sort of... Let's try putting this through good old friend Clouds, and see what happens when we get a little bit of some nice reverb on there. So let's take those out for a moment. So possible to get into a real cacophony of sound with that decay. Let's just up the... Whoops. Some really lovely sounds there. Let's try the other voice.
Now we have got some other inputs as well, which I can't remember what. So that's inputting into the pitch. It's a little bit extreme. Interesting. So let's try going into the other voice. So see what happens here. So let's just move over. So this is the chord voice. Now I have no idea what I've got this set to, because so if we have it on harmony, if we look at the harmony knob, so if I leave it on the minimum setting, that is the expanded voicing major scale. So I think that's basically a major scale. Oh no, sorry. No. We're just adding a root note, so fifth, so across here we've got different combinations of octaves and fifths. And then it moves into adding a third. Let's just third and fifth an octave. And then it should start adding sevenths. And eventually ninths. Let's go to lower tuning. Excuse my randomly just turning the tuning knob. And then we've also got this glide control, which is quite nice. And then if we press this timbre button and change there, we can change the scale. So get into like jazz territory here, which is quite interesting. Has anybody ever played jazz on a modular? Major, and then this extended major. Okay. Now I think what's interesting is that we should be able to, how shall I do this now? We should be able to have something from both sides going at the same time. Okay, now that's a little bit overpowering, isn't it? So you can adjust the level of each voice independently. I'm just having a little play with adding some clouds in at the moment. Oh, I do love clouds. Okay, so that's kind of just a little taste of what this module can do. So 20 minutes of playing, and I must say I am very impressed. I mean, I'm a huge fan of rings, as I'm sure regular viewers to the channel will know. And this, although it works differently to rings, and it's got a lot of different features and a lot of different things that you can do with it. It does feel very very rings-ish, and I haven't even, I've just scratched the surface really of what you can do with this module. But I just wanted to get something out as soon as I could really today, having just received this. So I'm going to have a tinker around with this module a little bit more over the next week or so, and hopefully get it a little bit sort of deeper into using it and so on. So I think that's going to be all for now though. So if you found this interesting, this little scratch of the surface of Strymon's Superkar Plus, then leave a comment, and like, subscribe, all that jazz, and look out for another video probably next week or maybe the week after, where I sort of go into this module a little bit more and maybe build a fuller patch using it. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheerio.